Welcome in, everybody, to the 49ers podcast. I'm Matt Daniel, as always, joined by my co-host, John Gallagher. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you? How about you?
I'm just trying not to die from heat stroke, honestly.
Yeah, dude. You say 110 in Washington?
110 today, 100, and I think it hit 117 yesterday. At least that's what it was supposed to hit.
It's not supposed to do that.
Yeah, it's not supposed to do that. Yeah, something's up. Who knows what it is, but hopefully we'll get a little bit cooler. I think it's going to go back down to 99 next week. So
lucky.
Yeah, you can actually step outside and not like burn your feet in the sidewalk. So
yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about the 49ers state of the franchise. Tonight, we're also going to be doing a secondary breakdown. Take a look at what the 49ers defensive backs are going to be looking like next year. Before we do that, make sure to follow us on Twitter. I'm at Matt_NFL_ and John is at Genghis_John_. The pod's Twitter is at 49erverse. Make sure to sub to our YouTube, youtube.com/the 49erverse podcast, as well as Apple Podcast. We are finally uploaded to there as well. Let's get into the news and notes. Not really much news, honestly. It's been pretty slow. The 49ers state of the franchises tonight at 9 Eastern. We'll hear a special announcement from Jed York, which I'm assuming the announcement is the jersey reveal, which we'll get into in a bit. Interviews with Shanahan, Lynch, George Kittle, and Fred Warner. You can stream that on the 49ers app. So let's talk jerseys. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure you've seen the picture of the leaked red throwback 94, basically the red version of the white ones that we've been wearing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be the cleanest uniform in the NFL. What are your thoughts?
The cleanest uniform
combo. What do you think the best combo in the NFL is? I think the white on white is.
I love the white on white that we do have.
Clean.
For me, the classic 80s red and gold is my favorite for the Niners. If we're talking about the whole league, I mean, the Chargers powder blues are super hard to beat. It's just a clean look.
It's tough. The Chargers have a couple clean ones. They have like a royal blue, and then their powder blue ones, both really clean.
I also think, I don't know, this might be an underrated jersey or combo, but like when the Ravens wear their all blacks with like the purple numbers,
the purple,
dude, that's scary, man. I like that.
Yeah. I also like I must just like white on white combos, but the Giants have a really clean white on white. And the Saints, the white and gold is pretty nice.
The Saints white and gold is really nice. The Saints actually I do like a lot. I like their black and gold and their white and gold combos.
Yeah, they have a couple cool ones. It's hard. I feel like when you have a gold color, usually that's going to look clean.
Yeah. They rock that one well.
Yeah, because like our gold pants are pretty iconic.
Dude, I love it. When I think about Jerry Rice like running touchdowns and just like that, the fucking bright white numbers, the bright red jersey, and then the gold pants. Woo!
Yeah,
that's
one thing I do like. Yeah, for sure. But with the older uniforms, like you were saying with the '80s ones, they're just a little more like simple, just like like bolder lines and.
But I like that for football. That's something I like because this is a clean, simple design, and we're here to play football.
Yeah, I agree. And the red and gold is just a clean look.
And we can agree that the Seahawks highlighter jerseys are the worst.
The lime green.
We can talk. We've talked about the best, the ones we like. The Seahawks, aside from being a rival of the 49ers, that fucking highlighter jersey sucks, man.
Bad.
It's so bad.
And it's the worst part is that like there are people out there who think it looks good.
It's
like
so
they
bad.
Like hype it up, and bright doesn't equate to good.
No, man.
I mean, I saw somebody was tweeting about the Seahawks maybe wearing their throwback, like the 90s ones. Those ones are
like
a little better.
The lighter blue, with Steve Largent.
Like a lighter blue, like a little like Steve Largent. Yeah.
No, that's a good. I like that jersey. That's a good. That's a better looking jersey than the fucking highlighter jersey.
Yeah, I don't really even like their normal one. I think their wolf gray ones are pretty nice.
I like the gray. I like the super dark navy blue when the green is just like the accent and that pops. Yeah. Like that's a good looking jersey. Like that's a good looking combo. Get away from that highlighter jersey.
Yeah,
I hate it so much.
It's pretty bad. I would agree that that's probably the worst. Did you like the all blacks that we would wear?
I do like the all black. It's just that I thought it looked silly. What helmet did we wear with that?
Just the normal gold one.
What pants? Did we have black pants?
Yeah.
It was all black on black with the gold helmet. It'd be cooler if we had a black helmet.
Yeah, well, I think it needed a little more gold in it. It was just
and a
like
little more
black,
gold to
red,
make
and
sense.
white.
Maybe that's what I didn't like. I thought that the helmet looked goofy as just the only gold thing on the uniform.
Maybe. Yeah. Because maybe if you had a little gold in the jersey, it might, but a black uniform would be clean.
Yeah.
Or a white helmet.
Yeah. It's just they might hate that at Levi's, in a noon game.
Oh, that's a good point. They might have to save it because I think they wore them last year at I think it was like a Thursday night game or something.
Like one of those
probably have
rushes.
to wear it at like a late game because you're like at a straight disadvantage wearing that.
Yeah, it would suck pretty quick.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're also wearing the patches, the 75th anniversary patches.
Righteous.
Which I think you're going to look clean.
Mm-hmm.
I should have waited to buy my Trey Lance jersey to get a patch on it, but
no, I appreciate fucking striking while the iron was hot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Well, let's get into what we're here for. The secondary. So the 49ers usually carry 4 safeties, 5 corners. So we're going to look at the secondary and basically talk about who we think is going to make it. We'll talk a little bit about who we like moving forward, who we think might get cut, just like stuff like that. So let's start with corners. So on the current roster, we have Mark Fields, Tim Harris Jr., Dante Johnson, Emmanuel Mosley, Jason Verrett, Ken Webster, K'Wan Williams, Diamador Lenore, and Ambry Thomas.
I think it's Demondre, right?
Is it Demondre? It looks like Diamador. I don't know. It might be Demondre. I'm probably just pronouncing it bad.
Go? Oh, might be Diamondre. Oh, Diamador. You're right. Yeah, there is no N. I'm putting an N in there that's not there.
Yeah, but sometimes you pronounce it with an N when there isn't one, though.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I've been pronouncing it like that, but we just need to stick to calling him Demo, I think.
Demo. Yeah, I
think that's
Demo.
the safe route. But as far as making the roster, I think corner's pretty cut and dry because Verrett obviously making the team. He's our one. He's our guy.
Yeah.
K'Wan, one of the most underrated players in the NFL, period.
Yeah, he's a chess piece.
Yep. And Emmanuel Mosley, pretty versatile, can do a lot.
Yep.
He's not really like the guy that you want covering a number 1 receiver because we've seen him struggle. Like we saw him struggle against Adams. He struggled against DK, struggled against Hopkins. So not really, I don't know if Verrett is going to play more shadow because he kind of took over for Sherman and Sherman only plays one side.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way corners usually play with like our zone scheme.
I was gonna say that within our scheme, like that's just what we ask our corners to do.
Yeah. Do you think that might change at all? Like we might see Verrett.
I don't know, because Mosley's a little more rangy. Same with Quan in terms of coverage; they're a little stickier. Verrett too can be. So like it would be interesting to see more man coverage out of them, and see if they do kind of shift and like if Verrett does kind of shadow. Because that will look a lot different than what I'm used to for the Niners defense.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know how much. I mean, it all comes down to what DeMeco Ryans wants to do.
Right.
From what we've heard, it seems like the schemes isn't going to change, and we're just going to see, similar scheme, but maybe like a different type of like play calling choice. Like we've heard that DeMeco might want to blitz more, and stuff like that. And then Ambry Thomas and Demo, who we just mispronounced a couple times. Those should be the other 2 that make the roster. I don't see them cutting, especially Ambry, because he's a third-round pick. You're not going to
want to cut that.
And second off, he's going to be a really good special teams guy. I've heard some people saying he's probably going to be returning off the bat.
Really? Love it.
So I don't know. For the last spot, I could see Demo if Demo comes out and plays bad, but everything I've seen is Demo's been balling.
Yeah, he had that pick in practice, right? That it looked good. It looked good looking little sticky interception.
It was just one play, and he was guarding. Right. I don't remember who it was, but still, so far so good, right? From the one video we've seen,
showing me things I like.
Let's see, Tim Harris Jr. He was a 2-year practice squad guy, so he's going to be a cut or go because he won't qualify for the practice squad this year. I liked him coming out of college, so it'll be interesting to see if maybe he will play well enough to edge out someone like Demo, because that's pretty much the only spot, unless they decide they want to carry a 6th corner and take the spot off somewhere else. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It's tough to say because you don't really know what exactly, Kyle's thinking with personnel, but because I'm just basing it off of how many we carried last year.
Yeah. I got to think Dante Johnson's going to have another exit.
He's going to make an exit, and then he's going to make a
back
return
somehow. He's just gonna just hire him to be he's the janitor or something. Just like still with the squad, but he doesn't take a roster spot.
Yeah, just like let him
on field man, like equipment manager.
Yeah, like buy like the house right next to a stadium, and then Dante Johnson can just live there, and it's like, yo, we need a corner, and he can just come on by. That man has signed so many different contracts with the 49ers. Like, except like he'll sign a contract, get cut, and then he'll get signed like 3 more times that season.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, he finds a way back.
He always finds a way back.
Yeah,
but I'm excited about Ambry Thomas.
Absolutely.
You know, he seems to play hard and physical. I mean, it's hard to tell. Corner, I think, is a pretty hard position to evaluate. So it'll be, interesting to see. But I think there is a lot of potential for Ambry.
Well, yeah, the thing about corner evaluation is that it's not a cut and dry set of tools or skill sets. You have to evaluate that corner on what he's being asked to do, and corners, team to team, are asked to do very different things.
Yep.
Like sometimes a great cornerback is asked to do more cover 2, more stay in the zone, and sometimes a great corner is asked to be sticky and stay man up. And it's just like great corners do both things. So like you just need to evaluate what you want your cornerbacks to be, prioritizing.
Yep. And like we talked about with what Sherman would do, because he would just stick to his side, and he played it as well as anyone has ever played that type of role.
The side was shut down 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but if you were putting Sherman in a role where he was going to have to play play man to man, he's probably going to struggle.
We saw him get cooked by Hill, but like, who hasn't Hill cooked?
Yeah. Who hasn't Hill cooked? And also by Sammy Watkins. But I mean, he just doesn't play man because he's not fast enough to keep up with guys like that.
Especially after that Achilles injury, it's really hard to be, as fast.
Yeah. And with a zone scheme, you can kind of like outsmart it. Just like know your zones, know who's in front of you, know who's behind you, stuff like that, right? And that's what he's good at, So we'll see. I don't really know what kind of schemes like Oregon or Michigan ran with Demo or Ambry, but we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see. Moving on to safeties. So we've got Tarvarius Moore technically still on the roster.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to get cut because I know his contract ends this year. So I don't know if they're going to let him hit the market or if they're going to hold him, re-sign him. I don't really know what their plans are for him, but an Achilles is brutal, especially for safety.
Yeah, it sucks.
So
he had some flashes too of some things I liked.
He's I think he was pretty good at creating turnovers when he had his limited time.
He has some speed to him too.
And so he was a good piece to have behind Jimmy Ward, because he was someone that wasn't going to be playing every down, but we still trusted him to be able to step in and play the role when we needed him to. So
what do you think of this of Niner fan 499? If Sherm comes back, he will press. He won't play off coverage.
I'm not really sure. I don't think that Richard Sherman is going to change the way he plays.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Especially, I don't know why he would press more. Because really, if he's slower, he'd want to press less.
Niner fan, why? Please explain why you feel like he would press more.
So he says, Thomas has the confidence that you look for, along with Lenore.
I like anybody that your nickname about playing football is angry. If somebody watches your football and the way that they sum up your play style is angry, I'm a fan. That's gotta be. There's going to be some real positives in that game that we can use, for that 49er team. Yeah,
especially the way we like to play. We like to play defense. Like, we like to hit you. We like to let you know we're
all
there.
Gas, no break, mentality, I'm sure is going to be, somewhat there, even though the coach isn't. But I'm sure that they're still going to be playing, with that in mind, not letting up.
I think that's a big thing when it, like we've seen Pete Carroll be able to do in Seattle, is just like be able to change the whole mindset. And that's like big when you're trying to create like a culture, what Kyle Shanahan's trying to do, the all gas, no breaks thing, that kind of was brought on by like Quan Alexander a little bit. Just like, if you can just carry that mindset throughout,
just relentless, defense.
Relentless. It's going to be, that's something good. And I think we kind of drafted like, Hafunga, right? That guy plays that same way,
right?
All gas, literally all gas, no breaks.
It looks like he can go hit.
Yeah, he can hit. He's like the reason he fell in the draft, not only because of injuries, but was because people didn't really know how to play him because he's like a linebacker / safety, you know?
Right.
So if we were to play like a nickel linebacker kind of thing or nickel safety, so it'll be interesting to see if he does make the team, how we would utilize him, because we'd probably see some more, like some interesting packages, because we saw Marcel Harris line up in that role.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that they, you'd be excited to see them blitzing more, and if they are, using Tony Jefferson, using Hufanga is exactly how you do that, and you can get, you could be pretty versatile with those different combinations.
And so Ward obviously is going to be, he's our starter, him and Kwaski. So it'll be interesting to see who else makes the team, because that pretty much leaves Marcel Harris, Hufanga, and Tony Jefferson.
Outside of Ward, like do we really have like a single high safety type that we could really trust back there?
Not really, no.
So that's concerning. Like that, if Ward were to go down, he's the guy that we ask if we are bringing up safeties to either to blitz or to cover, middle of the field. He is the kind of single high safety we ask to be, last line of defense.
Yeah.
If he goes down, that's a big blow. So like I'm hoping that there is somebody on the roster that maybe he's under our radar right now in terms of being able to play that.
I mean, I think Tarvarius Moore was the closest thing we had.
He could get right because he had that speed.
And he would play, I think he would play when Ward would go down, and then Harris would play for Kwaski, right? So,
right.
That's another blow right there, because you're going to have, because Hufanga's not going to be able to play, that type. I don't really know what they plan on doing as far as backing up Jimmy Ward goes, because we've seen Jimmy Ward have some injury struggles.
He's gone down. It's one of the reasons why the fan base has been so divided on him for, many years. It wasn't until recently that, fans started realizing that when he's on the field, he's incredibly good.
Yep. And they notice it when he's not, because whoever's backing him up doesn't play. You really appreciate the guy when the backup comes in and gets destroyed, right?
And like shows you,
we saw how good K'Wan Williams. We saw how good K'Wan Williams was when Brian Allen was getting torched by the Dolphins and Preston Williams. So I don't know. We will see what happens with the secondary. I'm pretty hopeful. I mean, losing Sherman isn't ideal, but it's not. I'm not really too concerned about it. He was really the only one we've lost. Akello is now in Seattle, but I didn't really see Akello playing a role. He kind of fell in the Shanahan doghouse kind of early.
Shanahan doghouse, and then the Whitner remarks, man. Whitner calling him out publicly, saying he was soft. Once I heard that, I was like, you know what? I don't think that. I wouldn't be surprised if other 49er teammates felt similarly to Dante Whitner, because I feel like Dante Whitner's got a really good mind for football. He used that mind to smash other minds.
And when
and
when you're playing the way that we want to play, which we said earlier, smash mouth,
relentless
breaks. You don't want someone soft, Yeah. And we play in a physical division. There's a lot of good receivers in our division. So that just makes our secondary that much more important, because we got to face DK and Lockett twice a year. We got to face Hopkins, AJ Green twice a year. Then we got to face Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp.
We're gonna have to face Rondale Moore in Arizona. I think that's actually going to be a lot filthier than people realize. That little dude can squat I think he was squatting 600 as a freshman.
The thing that worries me less about him is he's a guy that you kind of do have to like Debo, right? Wouldn't be good somewhere else. He would be, but he wouldn't be Debo the same. Because Kyle Shanahan knows how to use him so well.
Yeah, it would just depend on where he went. Like if he went to a McVay system, he'd be great. If he went to like LaFleur, the Packers, that they would use him. They would use him.
Yeah. I just felt like, is Cliff Kingsbury a good enough coach to be able to utilize him to his potential?
Well, so Kingsbury is good at drawing up some flashy offense. The thing about Rondale Moore is that he's just the guy that you get the ball in space to, and then he makes it happen.
Yeah.
And I foresee not a lot of people pressing Rondale Moore early, because he's the rookie. He's probably playing out of the slot. You're not going to have their best defense on him. And he is going to get the ball in space and show people, I really believe he's going to be housing a lot of these little, 5-yard, 10-yard outs. And like, that'll be, so we need corners to be relentless and sticky and fucking ready to go hit people, because there are good, strong receivers in our division.
Yeah, it's insane how, and then you add in our team just in general. It's almost not fair how good just our division is just in general. With
our division's real good.
Yeah, we probably have the worst quarterback situation, and really we have Jimmy and Lance, so it's not even that bad.
Right. So, no, I'm stoked on our situation. Jimmy's cool. When he's on our starting quarterback for the 49ers, I think that's neat and fun. Lance, though, I'm excited. Like, that is something that I think the upside is just so high that that looks like the franchise guy that we want for a decade easy.
Yeah, like if it works as planned, it's going to be dangerous.
I think so.
I'm talking like Chiefs type offense.
100%.
It's different.
Yeah. But that same kind of like, oh, we have this guy, we're gonna build around him, and it's gonna flourish, and like that's what it did.
Yeah, like they might just put like a 50 burger on you, like weekly,
100%.
So, because we saw it with what the Chiefs offense was able to do in 2019 in the playoffs, where they're down 21 points and then
don't matter,
it's gone. Now they have the lead. You know, so having an offense that good. And that's kind of the way that the NFL is sort of like leaning towards becoming, just being like a little more offense heavy, where it used to be, run the ball, have a good defense. And now it's throw for 450 yards a game.
Yeah. It used to be clock management, like clock control. Now, definitely it's fucking, it's a shootout much more often. Now it's just like, who's got more artillery.
Yeah. And I think that's what would make us different, is because our defense is so good.
Yes.
Because if we can carry over that good defense and then add in a top 5 offense,
that's what we had in 2019.
Yeah. But it'd be even better, with a difference maker quarterback.
Yeah, because we had a top offense predicated through the running game. Like if we had a top 5 offense that it was just because Lance is that guy and Lance can sling, which I think he can. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
And I think that running game isn't going to go away either. That's what's beautiful about it, is that it's going to be that good. And then you're going to add in a whole nother layer to it with what Trey Lance is going to be able to do.
Yeah. Because if the play action's there too, it's just going to be filthy.
Yeah. So much of what Kai likes to do is based off that play action.
Yes.
And you have to get that because if you're not running the ball well, the play action doesn't work.
Don't work.
Yeah. It's going to be a nightmare to try and, scheme to stop that offense.
Yes. Yes, it will. And
all right. So, are you ready for Blunt Talk?
I'm ready.
All right.
You listen up here, everybody.
Fired up.
We are firing it up.
So, for those who don't know, Blunt Talk is our special part of the end of our episodes where John bluntly describes something that he dislikes that's going on in the NFL universe.
Things that irk me.
Things that irk him.
Yeah.
So what's irking you today?
Well, what's irking me today is the schism, the divide in the 49ers fan base that think that they need to root one way or the other in terms of Jimmy or Trey Lance. Oh, Jimmy's the starter. No, Trey Lance is going to start week 1. Jimmy's trash. We got to stop that. All right. Both are 49ers. Both have done good. Well, Trey Lance hasn't done anything as a 49er yet, but there's tons of reasons to be excited. But this whole idea that we need to bash one to support the other, we got to stop that. Everybody, we got to stop it. Hold on, we're going to hit the blunt.
Get the mind right.
Get it right. We have to stop it. If Jimmy starts week 1 and we win, are Trey Lance truthers going to say that's not what we should have done? No, let's not do that. We're putting ourselves in a corner where now we're, as fans, we can't have any fun. Let's not do that, because this is a good, fun sport to watch, and we got a good, fun team to support. So if Jimmy starts week 1, great. I'm rooting Jimmy. If Trey Lance starts week 1, I'm rooting Lance. You know what I'm saying? And what I won't do is, while one player is starting and playing, I won't be like, Niners are dumb. Let's just see what they want to do, and let's see them work, and I'm excited for the future of the Niners.
I could not agree more. I always say it's about the Niners. It's not about, it's not about the individual player. It's about winning that week, really, when it comes down to it. Sometimes people want to look too far ahead. I don't know. Jimmy can win. Jimmy can win us a Super Bowl. You know, if that is what is going to be the recipe for a Super Bowl, then by all means, then it should be Jimmy.
Be cool.
You know? So I don't really care who they're rolling out there at the time. It's,
we got good really people on the 49ers.
Yeah. But I mean, the 49er fan base, I'm sure this is an NFL fan base in general, but we just notice it more because of the 49ers. Yeah. But I remember people yelling for Nick Mullins last year when Jimmy was struggling, so people I think are going to do it regardless. It's not just because we drafted Trey Lance. It's because people just like
and that's less about like they want the right player to start. It's just that they love shouting like a 50-50 take on the off chance that they're right. Like they want to be right more than they want the Niners to be successful. Does that make sense? So like they're just like, no, I called that, and like that's more important than the team win. And it's like that's not how I enjoy sports.
Yeah.
Like that's not what I'm here for.
Yeah, like you're saying, if someone predicted Nick Mullins was better, right? And then he came in and was good, then they were just doing it to have the correct hot take, right?
If that happened, they're more excited that they were right about that than that the Niners are winning. And like you've got a skewed perspective on how to be a fan then if that's what you're doing. Because like you're not in their war room. And they're not gonna call you to get your advice on who they draft next. Yeah. So this whole like I'm sitting in in my office and you're like, oh no, I called it. I'm the supreme mind. Niners need to do what I'm doing. That's a weird way to have fun watching the game. Like that's it's just not how the NFL operates.
And the people in the room know so much more than you do, and there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that you're never gonna see ever. Because Jimmy could be. I mean, there's a lot of things that could be going on. Someone might not be feeling well that week. They could be sick. I don't know, but they just aren't going to tell you. There's a lot of different layers to things, the way that someone acts in a locker room.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan has been studying offenses since he was a baby.
Yeah.
Mike Shanahan probably gave him a playbook when he was born and said,
100%,
trying to find a hole in this defense.
Yeah.
And he probably did it. Right.
Yeah.
So
he's filmed for his first 10 birthdays.
Yeah. Right. So he's going to know so much more than we ever will, as much as, we watch football and
I'm trying to be the best football mind I can be. I love diving into the X's and O's. I love to try and get and bolster as much of my knowledge as I can. What I won't do though is start firing at the hip to saying like, oh, these GMs and coaches and like they don't know what they're doing. They're all dumb. While we do like to critique a lot of their moves and then try to determine if those moves are going to lead to success or not. Yeah, those people are still in their position because they're somewhat good at what they do, right? Like we got to acknowledge that.
And I'm still going to disagree with takes or not takes. I'm going to disagree with decisions, here and there where okay, maybe we shouldn't have. Like looking back at Colin Kaepernick, Alex Smith, right? I wanted Alex Smith to stay the starter.
I wanted,
because we're winning, right?
Yeah. And I wish we would have had that podcast then. We would have had some good back and forth.
We would have. And I mean, looking back, we will never know what the correct thing was, right?
I think
because you could say
it was Cap.
Would we have won if it was Alex Smith?
Against the Ravens?
Maybe. And remember that fourth quarter against Seattle where Cap had like 4 turnovers in 3 minutes and we still almost won?
Yeah.
Alex Smith would not have had that. I think that was the 2014 game because he like fumbled it and then he threw an interception and then he threw another interception and then he almost led us back to win it and then the classic.
I remember Kaepernick going into Foxborough in December to clinch a playoff win and fucking shut the Patriots down and like when players do things like that because the Patriots were amazing then. That's peak Belichick, Brady, Gronk. Great defense, high-powered scoring offense. And so when you see things like that, you're like, oh, this is what you want to build around. But that whole organization was so tumultuous at the time. There was so much turmoil that it's just hard to develop any players. Like the players that were good were just already superstars. You had Patrick Willis and Bowman that didn't need a lot of coaching, didn't need a lot of fucking like they had their defensive coordinators and they were just lights out good. Kaepernick, rookie quarterback who needs really a lot of development and nurturing to cultivate the talents. It just really wasn't there.
And our head coach was, well, we both had our issues with, Greg Roman, right? Yeah. And we've both, been vocal about thinking that he's kind of not the greatest coach, right?
Just a little antiquated is how I would put it.
Right. And Jim Harbaugh is a defensive coach, so I mean, maybe if Kaepernick was in a different situation with a coach that was, able to mold him to be, more refined passer. And
to be fair, Harbaugh loved him. Harbaugh did love Kaepernick. It's just that the rest of the organization didn't seem to. They didn't seem ready to just make it the Kaepernick show.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know who made the official decision. I think that was part of what, the whole Jed York fired, the whole Harbaugh thing, the weird thing that happened.
They had tiffies. I heard it was like about like investors were hanging on the field or something. And they called Harbaugh over and he didn't want to give him the time of day because he was coaching. And then like, that's what started this whole rift. I've read a lot of different things about just them always bickering. It's like, it just seems like it was a weird, bad environment to fucking develop
and I heard some
mentality.
Yeah. And I heard some players talking about the locker room wasn't the greatest. And I love Harbaugh and I think he's a great coach, and
let's put that on record. Yeah.
Yeah. And those 12, 13, 14 seasons were some of the most fun football I've ever watched.
Yeah. Who's got it better than us?
Yeah. Right?
That was awesome.
But I don't know. I still would have, I don't know. Maybe it's just like that special place in my heart for Alex Smith, but I don't know.
I love Alex Smith.
I don't know. I feel like I would have.
Bad word to say about him.
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I really want to know because Kaepernick's potential was so high. It would have been interesting to see what he would have been able to do if he was given the correct. Because really, after 2014, it was just a shit show.
Yeah.
It was
we should have at least been able to see what Cap could have done on another team. Even if he wasn't going to be a Niner.
Yeah.
The fact that he was blackballed the way that he was, he still had the talent to go get developed somewhere else. We would have seen Cap really play. I think we got robbed a bit.
And because immediately after we fired Harbaugh, Jim Tomsula took over, right?
Sure did.
That's who it was? I couldn't remember if it was Chip Kelly or Tomsula or what the order was.
I think it went Tomsula to Chip Kelly.
I think so too. Because we hired Tomsula as just do it for a year.
It was just a Band-Aid.
Yeah. And so Tomsula took over and we were really bad. And I don't really blame Kaepernick for that because he did struggle. And I think we went 7-9 that year. Yeah. But we also didn't have any support for him because I think Bowman just tore his ACL, MCL. So he was out the whole next season because he tore the NFC Championship.
We had a slew of backers retiring too.
Yeah. And then was that the year that Willis retired?
Willis retired. 14? We get the rookie Borland, who looks very promising. And he's like, I have headaches. And he retires after his rookie year. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we lost.
Damn it.
Yeah. I think we lost our whole team in a matter of 2 years. And we had basically Joe Staley left over.
Still holding it down.
So it was
Frank Gore for a little while longer.
Yeah, Frank Gore for a little while. I'm really hoping because last year we had to wait a while after our last Super Bowl and our whole team fell apart. I'm hoping that it's a culture thing now and it's not just because last year we weren't, we won 6 games, we weren't good, but I felt like we competed and I felt like going into the season, I expected us to be a Super Bowl contender. And this year I expect us to be a Super Bowl contender too.
100%.
And there were years where I was I
know what you're saying.
Sucks.
I was a very vocal 49er fan when they were going through when Harbaugh left and then we had Tomsula. I was telling everybody look, go Niners.
Yeah.
We aren't going to be good for at least 4 years.
Yeah.
And then we got Kelly and I was like, we're going to add a year to that at least. And then that's we had to wait. We had to wait in the shadow realm of despair. And then we get Shanahan and he starts making some small moves. You're like, what's going on here? And then signs Garoppolo, does that great run at the end of the season. and then follows it up with a Super Bowl run. And you're like, this looks like it's working.
This is fun.
Yeah. This is fun. I'm having a go Niners. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. That season was the one where he started 0-13 or something. Man, there was a tough couple years in there where it was just the Niners were so bad, just like up and down.
Still rocked my Niner hat whenever I went out, but you know what? I was also ready to take the criticism. Like, I know the team's not good right now, but you just wait.
Right. I still watched it. I still watched every game, but I did not smile while I was watching it.
There was some things to be upset with during those times.
Yep, it was brutal. So one question I have for you as we wrap up the show: what is one thing that you're looking forward to most in the preseason
with the Niners? Probably the running back rotation, Sermon, Mitchell. You know, because I think with the preseason, especially if Mostert's nursing from the surgery, I think that they're going to want to see what they can do with that 1-2 combo. I would say, I'm just saying that because I think the obvious answer is like, does Trey Lance get a lot of play time in the preseason? And like, of course I want to see that. But you know, in terms of just overall offensive production and longevity, I do want to see what they get out of that 1-2 combo with Sermon and Mitchell.
I think like just the offense in general, I'm really excited to see, because our defense, I feel like we kind of know what we're going to get.
Just if they're healthy. Yes.
Because I mean, obviously we're not going to project injuries or anything like that. Right. So like a healthy Niners defense, we know
on paper, I love
what to expect, right?
Yeah. I like players. I get you what you're saying.
You know, and then offense, we have some more new faces. Is it going to be Sermon, Mitchell? I don't know. Is it Mostert's our one? Will fill in when needed. You know, we don't know. So there's a few more question marks. How good is Trey Lance going to play? Is he going to come out and just light the world on fire? Or is he going to come out and look raw because he hasn't played in a year? You know, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm hoping that people are gentle with Trey Lance at first, because, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a little bit, you know, a few, you know, rookie struggles that quarterbacks have playing the hardest position in sports, you know, playing against the hardest competition in sports. So,
and the word out is that they did a full install with him with the Niners playbook so far in camp. So if there were rookie struggles, I think we would have at least seen it written about to some degree. So like, I truly, actually, I do believe Trey Lance has the talent to surprise a lot of people who are thinking like, oh, he's raw. Like, no, he went to a smaller school. That kid is so talented. You get the people around him, and it's gonna be a fireworks show.
And I think that's kind of like the question that needs to be answered. Is like you said, a lot of people, you know, including myself, I have called him raw. Is he really raw, or is he ready to come in and play? You know,
I think his overall circumstances and scenario was raw. Smaller school, maybe not the best of competition, but he still suited up and he balled out. Like you watch the plays that he puts together, and there is talent dripping off the tape. You know,
just the best player on the field
easily. So yeah, when we have the right coaches, which I think we do with the 49ers around him, I think he will surprise a lot of people who may have considered him raw.
I agree. That's going to do it for the show today. Thanks everybody for listening. The 49ers State of the Franchise starts at 6 p.m. tonight. So make sure to check that out. We will see you guys next week.
You guys take care.
Sounds like football, baby.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Feels great, baby.